to welcome you to our daily devotional. I trust that you are rejoicing in the Lord despite the circumstances in which you find yourself. There's always a reason to praise God. There's always a reason to look at the bright side of life because Jesus Christ is alive. Praise God. I would like to speak to you about the sin problem today. Come with me in your Bibles to Revelation chapter 12 verses 7 to 9. The word of God says, "And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought, but they did not prevail, nor was place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Now friends, the coronavirus is a fitting illustration for how sin has infected and impacted the entire universe, not just the earth. Though it may be surprising to some, heaven was infected first. In fact, it was so bad, 1/3 of the angels were infected and had to be evicted from heaven. Now, the COVID-19 virus is very small, but has a big impact. But so also the sin problem, very small, but a big impact. You see, the virus is microscopic in nature and invisible to the human eye, but look at the economic, the social, the religious, the emotional devastation it is causing worldwide. And this in addition to all other perennial humanitarian disasters. Look at how it has pervaded every sector of society, bringing life as we know it to a standstill. For some reason, this virus has caught the attention of the world. People are paying attention. People are acting and reacting. There are powerful leaders that are making decisions and legislating with regards to this virus like no other disease before. And so sin has added an unwelcome dimension to the universe and has necessitated the commencement of the perfect response of God. The universe could not proceed as it always did. You see, the earth was created and the sin virus has spread and Satan had to be quarantined, and we know he was quarantined on earth. This created a universal catastrophe in the universe beyond the immediate problem of containing the virus. God's character was questioned, and even sinless perfect beings were not sure whether there was some truth in what Lucifer had accused God of. Now there's also what they call patient zero. They tried to identify patient zero with regards to the coronavirus to better understand the nature of the cause of this virus. Now, when we look at the Bible and we try to understand the cause of sin, of course, we cannot fully comprehend it, but the Bible gives us something. It says in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 13, "Lucifer said in his heart, I will ascend to the heaven. I will be like the Most High." The virus of sin started in the heart, that means in the mind of Lucifer, and that is where it starts with you and I as well. You see, sin is not merely the physical act. It is the inner thoughts and the intentions that are corrupted, and only daily dying to sin through Jesus Christ can resolve that problem. So, Eve, along with Adam, had been warned by God to avoid the tree in the middle of the Garden of Eden. Satan was not free to roam about freely, and in fact, he was initially quarantined to the Garden of Eden and to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But we know what happened, and the rest is history. They fell to sin, and today we have all been impacted. I've met many denialists with regard to COVID-19 that try to underplay it, say that, you know, there are other diseases that are much bigger, etc. Of course, time will tell, but this is big enough. It's created a huge humanitarian disaster, so it's big enough. But I've also met some people who deny, most importantly, the reality of sin. In fact, who deny sin in their own very lives. The Bible describes them in Jeremiah 17 verses 9. It says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick," or desperately wicked. Who can understand it? If you don't think you're sick, if you don't think that you are in trouble, you will not take the remedy. You won't see the need of taking the remedy. So what we have need of, obviously, is a hero. We have need of a vaccine. That's Jesus, Christ the hero. Romans 5 verses 12 says, therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men. See, that's how the virus spreads. It has spread. The virus of sin infected one man first, a human being, and has spread to all of us as humans. Not everything parallels the coronavirus narrative, of course. Not everyone is infected. But as far as sin is concerned, everyone is infected. For everyone needs a cure. The Bible says, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That's Romans 3:23. And so the plan, the rescue plan, involves saving the infected inhabitants of planet Earth, but also securing the eternal destiny of the universe. It was not just an Earth problem, it's a universal problem. The only way the sin virus could be destroyed was if Jesus died on the cross. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. 1 John 5 verse 12 reinforces, it says, whoever has the Son has life. Whoever does not have the Son of God does not have life. Now, a lot has been said about the protective clothing required to protect you from COVID-19, you know, the mask, the gloves, the facial screens, and the special clothing, etc. But in the spiritual realm, so we find that we also have need of protective clothing. We have need of the robe of Christ's righteousness. Revelation 7:13 says, they are the ones coming out of tribulation. They have washed their robes and have made them white in the blood of the Lamb. You see, dear friends, our own fabricated garments of self-righteousness will avail nothing. The only 100% foolproof protection is the robe designed by God, manufactured by Christ on the cross, and dispensed by the power of the Holy Spirit into your life and my life. Our own righteousness, the Bible says, is as filthy rags. Dear friends, Jesus is the remedy. He is the ultimate solution. Come to him today, won't you? Don't delay your decision. Give your heart to Jesus in full surrender. God bless you. Amen.